Okay.
Okay, we're running.
Okay. So as I was telling last week, I got my board. And as you comment, I was trying to find out some documentation about it, but I didn't find anything. So I don't know what I'm going to do.
I did notice a few things. That page on Amazon, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, there's two comments. One comment, a guy said, I can't get the, I think it's called DFL programming mode to work, DFU, something like that. I think that's the one that's supposed to let you program it over the USB. And the guy said, oh, send me a personal note and I'll send you the information, including that. He said, I will send you the documentation, including that. So since you didn't buy a board from him, he may not send it to you. And then just a user posted a comment saying to use it with, what's that called? TP link, well, ST link. To use it with ST link, you have to jumper something like B0 to 3.3 volts, and it works just fine. Because the board I have has the built-in programmer and debugger right on the board. Essentially has ST-Link built right onto my board, and yours doesn't have that. So you may have to use your ST-Link programmer module and plug in to program the thing, unless you can get a bootloader put on the thing that will understand talking to it from the USB.
Ooh.
But I think if you plug in the ST-Link module, I think it'll work just like it's supposed to.
No, I tried to do it, but I don't know why I couldn't. I was trying to do it. I will try to open it because I received it yesterday and I didn't have a lot of time. Yes. ST-Link. No, I can't. No.
What are you trying to do?
I'm trying. Let me. Can I share my screen?
We can try it. See if that works.
Yes, we can try. No, you have to enable me for sharing my enable the function in my user.
Hold on. I can let you record files. Let's see, screen. I don't see anything about screen sharing here. Do you know how to do that? I can put you in the waiting room, or I can allow you to record files. Or I can make you a.
I don't know.
I can make you a host. Should we try that and see what happens?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So if it fails, you may have to hand the host back to me. I don't know how this works, so we'll try this and see what it does.
Okay.
Do you want to change Juan to be host? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Now see if your screen share works.
Yes, I can share my screen now.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. So I think that I got the program now. Modify the text. No.
Do you just have the USB plugged right into your board? Is that what you're trying to do? Or do you have an ST-Link module?
No, I have the USB plug into my computer and into the board.
Okay, I don't think that's going to work right up front. Do you have one of those little modules, the ST-Link modules, that maybe you're using for the blue pill board?
Yes, but no, I don't have it because I found out the way to flash the code to the blue pill board through the firmware thing, doing the the flash bootloader, flashing the bootloader.
Was that with a serial interface, or how was that? How are you programming that?
The blue pill, I was doing it with the serial interface. Yes, with the with the USB. With the USB interface, but I have to go through a process that you flash a firmware in the.
How did you flash the firmware into it in the first place?
I don't remember now, but I follow a tutorial in internet.
That will probably work on this board if you can find that original instructions.
Yes, I surely I find I think that I have it noted down someplace, but I'm not sure. I have to. I don't remember. Maybe I get some notes about it. No.
Because right now you probably don't have any code on that board. If you plug the board in with USB, did your computer say it recognized it, or does it not do anything? Because
the USB. Yes, it recognized it, but I'm not sure where it's showing me because let me. No, it does the sound, but
are you on Linux or on Windows?
In Linux.
So go to your command line, do a dmesg, DMESG, and that should show you on there. No, DMESG. So there's telling you something about.
Yes, I think that this is the attached disk because it's.
And I don't know if any of those are the board you just plug. You could unplug the board and plug it back in and then see if it'll show up new stuff on the bottom then when you do that. Is the board plugged in right now?
Yes.
Then unplug it and plug it back in and do a dmesg. So it looks to me like it didn't recognize the board, or it should have put some information out there. So I think that just the bare board is not going to talk to you. You have to have code to talk to that USB port. You know, you have to have firmware that'll talk to that USB port. So probably like on the blue pill, you're gonna have to load something in for it to understand that should work.
Yes. Let me, because I didn't find out the. This is the. No.
That's the board that I have.
Yes.
The top link, I think, is, yeah, that one. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, way down.
Yes, no, I was reading.
Okay. So right there are the two comments that say the top comment says, how do I get the DFU to work? And I think the guy says, oh, well, send me a note and I'll send you information on how to do it. And you could say, send him information, say, I'm thinking about buying one of your boards. I need the information. And maybe he'll send it to you. And then the comment down below off the bottom of the screen, the guy says, if you want to use that TP link, you have to connect 2 pins together. That one.
No, yes, but I'm getting, you're talking about 2 comments and I get only 1.
Well, stop right there. There's one that says top reviews from the United States. That one, that's the one that says you got to hook the pins together if you want to use TP link. And then above that, it says question and answer. It says, oh, I cannot figure out how to get this board into DFU mode. And the guy says, send me a note and I'll send you the information.
We have the full set of information on this board. Please contact us on Amazon and we will send you, including the DFU. I cannot feel.
So possibly if you go to the top of his page and it says contact me or whatever, and then just say, I'm thinking about buying this board. I need the information.
Okay.
Now, another time, he's got multiple listings out there, which only one shows up when you search, but I found his other one, and somebody says, where's the documentation? And he pointed to a link that was somewhere in China. It turns out it was the wrong board. So he posted that link again and decided when it could work. And then he says, well, contact me and I'll send you the information. So but I think that'll be the next step, is to get actual information from the board if anybody has that, because the other problem is there's a little flash chip on there, and without knowing which pins those are hooked up to, you're gonna have to pull out an ohm meter and find out what pins on the processor those go to, or if they have documentation, it'll say these pins will talk to that.
Yes, page 1 of 2. Why page 1 of 2?
At the top there, you just had to move your cursor to get that big picture to go away. They're now on the right. You can see the things like it probably has contact information or deliver secure. Yeah. Okay. I've never tried talking to anyone on Amazon. On eBay, I know where to find all the links and talk to people, but I've never tried this before.
Yes. I don't know. I will have to share production. No, I don't. I will have to work this. Look, what I can do is ask the one that sold me this to send me the documentation.
That's probably the easiest. Yes.
Yes. I will.
And we may not want to record the process of you talking to this guy. So Keep that in mind.
No. I was sending him an email. But,
Okay.
okay.
But I just want to remind you, we are recording this, so.
Okay. So.
And I can't read any of that, so I don't know what's going by. So
It's okay. It's okay.
so it's up to you to figure that out.
Yes, I will. I figure out that later. By the other, in the other hand, I follow another lead on this that was talking to the guy that works in the other robot. He's willing to help me. I don't know when. And I sent an email to like here in Argentina, we have an embedded system coalition. So I send them a mail for the two things. One of the things was asking them if someone could help me with the documentation, because I'm reaching a problem that I need somebody to correct the documentation that I'm writing. They are all with a lot of work, and I'm not finding somebody to help me with that. And as I keep on translating the documentation, I reach, I think that 27 pages, and I think that's enough. I will stop. But I'm not sure, because as I'm not finding somebody to help me with the corrections. I think, or I stop or I finish the work and then correct it by myself. And I think I will take a week to think that, but I'm thinking that I will have to do the correction myself because I won't find anybody to do it. But when I send them the message, I send a message asking for help for this board, and a board for grouping this board with the sensors to build a board and build a board for the ESP32. Well, for that messages, I didn't get any kind of response or answer. But for the first one, they tell me that someone will help me, but I'm not sure about that. In that hand, and next week I will be working. I will try to do some kind of work in loading the bootloader to this board. I will try to re-get the page that I used to the blue pill, see what can I achieve. So I'm a bit stuck in this, Chef.
Once you do figure out how to program the board, back to your IDE where you're saying all you have to do is change the pins on that page. I don't think you have to modify the software at all. I think you just have to take, whatever device you're going to use, a motor controller, and it's got a direction and a PWM. Just figure out which pins on the old board is hooked up to and hook them up to those pins on the new board. I don't think you have to change the software. It's just going to be, you're going to have to hook up the wires in the right spot on your board to make it work, to make it do what the old one was doing.
I hope that, and beside being a bit of a lost here, I'm confident that I will find out a way, because this is a common problem here and in a lot of places, because as there are so much problems with the components, people is getting to use different components and try to replace them with others. So I think that if I post in the other Slack channel, because I didn't have time, I received it yesterday, and I thought that that when I will receive it, I will get some information in the box, but the box was empty beside the two boards and the wheel that I the little wheel, the crazy wheel. So when I start with that, I continue with the meetings that I have, and and even I didn't open the IDE. I opened it an hour ago to try to see if it could boot, but I will find out a way.
It could even be if you go to the ST Micro webpage and under, just talking about the chips, they might tell you what the different programming modes are, and they might be able to tell you how to set up your IDE and how you would talk to just a bare chip like you have.
Yes, I tried that, but I was in a hurry because the meeting was beginning and I was trying a lot of things to reach the easiest, but I didn't dive in that process. But and one of the things that I have seen is that you have the user yesterday or on Wednesday. I was looking for the changes in the wiki page of the ROS wiki, and I found out your user because we are, I didn't remember which one was my name, and I'm by Juan and you are by Chef, and as well and why as well I was looking the order. I've come out to the share and I found that your user, and it's, I think as something that I'm reading every week, the wiki of ROS is huge. It's huge, and the main thing is that everybody that is writing a piece of code or launching a robot, they are putting their data and their info in the wiki. It's like the only place that is, if you look it, you will find out that there is like one or two and maybe 3 posts per week of robot being launched or packages being launched in ROS and documented in the wiki. That surprised me, and we come out this week while we were having the meeting, because I have the meetings on Saturdays. We reach that we will stop working when we reach the same amount of info that is in the basic books of ROS.
Did you get that note? It says the meeting is going to end in 10 minutes. Apparently,
yeah, it's okay. I will. We can begin another meeting.
Okay.
I have one more half hour because I have another meeting later.
No, I got something popped up saying that this meeting will end in 10 minutes, apparently, because I'm not paying for it or something. So I just want to tell you, it is going to end pretty quick here. Can you stop sharing your screen?
Yes.
So it seems like your next thing is you have to figure out how to program that board, and then ideally you want to say, how can you easily program it from that IDE? Because it's nice if you just click the button that says program it and it does it, without having to hook it up a lot of extra pieces or something. So it's once you get some documentation, they might give you some suggestions on how to do that, right? So that's probably your next step on that.
Yes, that will be my next step. When I finish this meeting, I will send a mail to the guy that sell me the board asking for the documentation.
Okay.
If I fail in that, I will go for another way.
Yeah. So in the meantime, I got this. This is a BNO 55 IMU from from Adafruit, and I simply got that because the one that's on my robot right now is working fairly well, but I didn't want to touch that one. So this is an extra one if I want to play with that. And then in the meeting last week, I was seeing my robot kept running away from me again. And I was trying to decide what was wrong. I finally decided it's probably the CAN interface. I'm not getting messages between the remote control receiver and the main microcontroller. So I added in a USB to CAN adapter. I've got that plugged into my laptop so I can publish the CAN messages as a ROS topic so that I can go back and watch the messages actually coming from the remote control receiver while it's running. And then I also...
And how do you have it, the messages before? If they weren't ROS, published as ROS topics?
Well, this has nothing to do with ROS. I've got my remote control in that plastic box. It reads the joysticks and switches, puts them into a radio message, and sends that to a teensy on the robot, and that receives that, and then it builds. It just basically takes the bytes that I sent across and sticks those into a CAN message and sends that over to the main microcontroller. And at that point, I just say, what's the value for forward speed and what's the value for steering? And then I do something with that. So though at that point, none of that was connected into ROS.
Okay.
But in order to see what was going on, because I had no idea what was happening across there. So now I put an extra adapter on that CAN bus so I can feed it into my ROS computer and then publish that as a ROS topic. So I can go back in a bag file and see what it was doing at the same time. Now that tells me whether or not the remote control receiver is transmitting a CAN message, but I don't know if the other board's receiving it. So on that one, I said, once the message comes in, I'll strip off the speed and the steering and just tack those on the end of my other message that I already send to ROS. So now I can see it on both sides. By looking in the bag file, I can see, did the remote control receiver send the message? And then do I know if the other one received the message? So by looking at that'll give me more clues on that.
Yes, this week, one of the things that I'm working is in the ROS launch, the files. No, this week, not last week, I was working in the remap tab, and that's useful for that because you can remap that topics or that info through a topic.
So the other thing I was doing, so I just need to go out and drive that around, but also at the end of the meeting, I said, when I got done driving, it blew my fuse on my main motor drive. And I haven't tracked that down yet to see why it did that, but I thought it would be handy to be able to read the current on the motor. So I made up this gadget, which before the meeting, I'll have to remember to grab one of those boards and bring down with me. So they're just a little square board inside of here. It's got the two wires soldered on that I'll put in. I'll put this in series with the motor control stuff. And then these wires will just go to three wires go to a controller somewhere. So I put on voltage and ground, and then it puts out a voltage proportional to the current. So that will give me something else where I can now monitor the current on the motor. Right now, I have no idea how much current that motor takes. It's just that it has had a 20 amp fuse in there for a long time. It worked just fine. And then sometime last weekend I ran it, it blew that fuse, meaning either it was just a crappy fuse to start with, or the fact that, I drove around long enough, it kept warming up and warming up. Then when I tried to put the extra load to drive up into the yard, it just blew it from the extra current. So I need to track all that down, but now I have a way to actually monitor the current and save it to a ROS topic. So I'll try that and see what that's doing.
Okay.
And just for reference, it says we have 4.5 minutes left before it's going to kick us off here.
No, I was trying not to interrupt you, and I was going to ask you if you were going to publish the info about the motor in a topic.
Yeah, I'm just going to tack that on the end of I got this big string of numbers that I send from my microcontroller up to a ROS node. And then I've got a way there, I just take the whole thing and write that out as an array. So those will be around. If I know which array entry to look at, that will be the current that I can go look at.
Yes, that's very useful because it can be used in a lot of places in the robot, in the steering wheel.
And right now for the steering, I have a separate Arduino Nano connected right to the pot on the steering, and that's got its own USB cable, and that publishes as a separate topic. And I was trying to decide if I should combine all that together, or should each one, say the steering all be separate, and should the main motor all be separate. So I was thinking about that, but that'll be a little ways down the line. I got to get it so it moves again. I see what I blew up on it. So
Yes. 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 Well, you are much in the way.
much what?
So, no, you are much in the way of getting the things done. But you, when it's going to begin snowing there?
Oh, I don't know, a couple months.
Oh, okay.
It's a ways yet before it snows.
Yes, that was. So, well, I don't have anything more. If
I
you
think
want, we can.
I think
Okay.
that's all I have too. I think so. And
So see you next week.
okay. So let me stop the recording.